You've come from the tower, haven't you? Name's Agarth. Maybe you can help an old Fate Weaver, eh? Fate Weavers look at the great tapestry of fate. The threads will tell us how a life will unfold. But knowing the future and being able to change it are two very different things. Trust me, I've known that for a long time. Nobody can change fate. Poor old Fomadus Hughes. He respected the way the world works. It's a shame. He'll be dead by now. When he started his experiments here, he asked me if they'd ever be successful. The cards told me that the Well of Souls would work, but its success would come on the day that Hughes was to die. The old man took it pretty well, honestly, although we did a lot of drinking after that. You really don't know much, do you? A Fate Weaver taps into the threads of fate and channels that energy through a focus. My order prefers cards. The cards are unique to each Fate Weaver, since we all see the weave differently. You're the one. Then that means it all makes sense now. The cards this morning. I drew the Gravedigger, the Running Man, and the Beast. Prepare yourself. They're coming.
Before death.
What? How? What are you? The threads of fate. I've seen them before, but I've never seen anyone manipulate them like that. You just changed how the world was supposed to work. How did you do that? Hughes may have brought you back to life, but that was still part of fate's plan. Nothing short of a god can do what you did. Come here. I'm going to do a reading. You might be able to change the threads, but fate will still have a plan for you. I promise not to tell you if I see your death. That would be my guess. He was an academic, but he had a proper respect for fate's plan, unlike most gnomes. You're nervous. Relax. This is what Fate Weavers do. I'll be seeing your place in the pattern of destiny. Who you are, what you've done, where your path takes you. Or, at least, I should be. You're real, right? I swear I haven't had that much... I am. But still, I've never seen someone whose fate was just missing. Not even when I was drunk as the king of ballads. This doesn't make sense. All mortal creatures have a place in the pattern. You should have one too, dead or not. If this is true, and I'm not saying I believe it, then your path is yours to determine. It could mean nothing, or it could mean everything. The world is changing. You might be a sign of that, or maybe the cause. I've never had a reason to doubt my own readings, but we should consult with Arden. He's not a friend, but he's got a good eye for the tapestry. I'll meet you at his home to the east. I'm going to see if I can be of any help to the wounded at the tower. Once I was Agarth the Unyielding, the Blade of Avgrum. I wrestled the Colossus Priestess and declined knighthood by the High King of the Fae. I was a hero of men. But that wasn't enough for me. I joined the Fate Weavers, hoping to find a way to conquer destiny itself. Turns out fate is the one thing I couldn't fight. You can find Arden's little cottage in the middle of Joven. Had to move there when he got run out of town. He's a damned good Fate Weaver, but that doesn't make you very popular. Especially not in dark days like these. We are all threads in the tapestry of fate, measured, woven, and cut according to a great plan. Fate Weavers undertake the task of reading those threads. Our title always was a bitter lie, since we have no control over how that tapestry is woven. But you do. And when a Fate Weaver looks at your place in the weave, we see only the shapes of what you may choose to become. The Fate Weavers were once a great, unified order of sages from all the mortal races. We foretold the destinies of kings and gods. But that power takes a toll. Nobody likes bad news. And all the news in the world is getting worse. The Order splintered long ago. Now the old traditions are all but lost. And all I foretell is the fate of my beer. And I see it being empty soon. Hughes was always an odd one. Curious and determined as any of his kind, sure. He never shut up about his work. But he always knew what was important. He didn't worry about dying as long as he knew he'd get the well working. That's just it. I don't know if you've got one, but that's why we're going to see Arden. He lives in a little hut to the east in Yulven. I'll meet you there. What could this all mean? Still here, huh? Can't quite decide if you want to hear what the... What could this all mean?
Of all the songs in halls of lore, there echoes none more grand than Olane's many feats of might, the pure and lady of the light. She is a knight of golden knot. She is the cure seeker, the conscience of the summer fae. She is the heart of spring, of day.
Everyone just stand back.
Fine.
The warden can't work when you're crowding so close. Go back to your business. Go on.
Don't let your guard down. I don't care what you race. It's a tragedy whenever anyone's savage like this. Just look at the poor creature. She's been beaten to the brink of death. The Fae may be strange, but they certainly don't deserve this. It appears she was attacked with some manner of short blade, likely a dagger, although there's no way I can be sure. People simply stood by as she called for help. No one lifted a finger. Can you imagine? It's shameful to treat another in such a way, even if she is a fae. I don't know whether we possess the knowledge to treat such a wound. Frankly, I don't even know if I could save a mortal with such grievous wounds. It's difficult to say. We've been plagued by the Red Legion for days, but it's not their way to go after the Fae in the area. They like their targets mortal. In case you haven't heard, there have been some Tuatha sighting in the woods to the west, so that's also a possibility. It's unlikely, though. Well, you're the only one. With all the troubles we've suffered in this village, people are weary of adversity. They'd rather just ignore it. I'm going to suggest something a bit untraditional. There's a fae named Eri. She spends her days up on the hill overlooking the village. Seek her wisdom. I would do it, but I am a coward. That's the truth. Perhaps a fae will know how to heal a fae. If not, then we're back where we started. I've spent most of my life dealing with them, but they aren't like us. Not at the core. They don't know what it means to be a man who sweats to feed his family. Gorhart has become a sort of refuge for those settlers who wish to live a life free of fae. I don't see that lasting. Not with the war. Not with everything changing. We keep a precarious peace with the Court of Summer, one that's tested every day. I lie awake at night worrying what kind of disaster awaits me in the morning. But we're a good community full of good people. We have our eccentrics, sure, but we work hard and live quietly. That's the best anyone can do these days. Peaceful fae make up the tribe known as the Court of Summer. They are led by a king in a faraway city, hidden from mortal eyes. That's about all I know. Little more than rumors and stories from my youth. I'm the warden of Gorhart, and a poor one at that. I've been back from the war for only 6 months and been warden for less than 2. Now here I am with an injured fae on my doorstep. I'm a disgrace. Our fate rests in the hands of a few chosen who fight in the east. You wouldn't even know it in Gorhart. We're miles away from the smoke and the screams. I've seen many bandit clans in the Crystal War and back home. But these men are a particular breed. They like their victims weak and bloody. The Red Legion has been a presence in the area for several weeks now. Our people are scared to show their faces after dark. I don't know what the Tuatha will be doing this far from the front lines. It must be something vital to their interests. They're a wicked breed, though, and I pity the man who meets up with them in these darkened forests. She spends her days in the precipice overlooking the village. She doesn't think we're aware of her presence, but we most certainly are. Bye now.
Hey.
Be cautious. The Red Legion is about. Best to sleep with your sword by your side. What? Whatever you do, avoid the monks of St. Odwig's Perpetual. They deal in lies and false tenets. Their light of hope will leave you in shadow. It is the name I chose when I baptized myself in the clear waters of Matharu. I have undergone the ordination rites and am as legitimate as any monk. You don't know. It is less a mission than a fortress of deception, a citadel of lies. It throws its menacing shadow over all of Gorhart. Father Dinwell will try to defend his cause, but he is simply a soldier, marching to the orders passed down to him. None of them have minds of their own. She was wronged by someone in this village. That is an injustice I can understand. By its appearance, you'd assume Gorhart is a pleasant place. Never make assumptions. He would be a good man if he could see past the rigidity of his faith. Matharu embraces all, not simply those that the Church deems worthy. If such creatures were not part of the authorities' plan, then they would not exist in nature, period. Matharu's divine order governs all, even the Fae.
Nothing to see back here. Just a man working for his pay. We in Gorhart like to stay focused on our business. That way the Fae stay focused on theirs. If there was ever a reason to believe that Fae and mortals cannot live together, it is this strange and brutal war. The Alpha fight without any true knowledge of the enemy they face. I've seen this kind of conflict before and it never ends well. Gorhart is an Almain settlement, so you won't find too many Alpha here. They tend to stay close to Rathia, their city on the coast. I don't mind them. The peace between mortals and the Fae is a passing one. They will always see us as occupiers of this land. We borrow what can never be given. Those fools in that mission on the hill are wasting their days. Creatures of such power do not worship gods. They are gods. Suits my needs just fine. It's remote, away from the shadows of the Crystal Wall. It's also quiet. Well, most of the time. What do you know of the Red Legion? Whatever it is, forget it. You'll be safer, wiser, and better off in the end. Ignorance is bliss, my friend. Their goal is to convince the Fae of their folly. But one cannot reason with the sunrise, ask the wind to cease its chill. You should speak with them if you haven't already. They are a sorry lot, and their numbers dwindle. Men forsake their faith and disappear into the woods, or worse. I'd rather not talk about it. My past is a murky place. It's better not to enter, lest you wish to get lost there.
It's busy today. Pull up a stool, stranger. We don't have much, but what we have won't leave a hole in your pocket. Are you here about that Fey girl they found outside? New to the area? I don't recall the last time I met someone who was unfamiliar with the Alfar. There are two groups. There used to be one, but that was many years ago. The Loselfar are cool, slightly aloof. The Dockelfar, however, are very friendly, but their charm masks a mischievous nature. I must be honest, sometimes I forget who we are fighting. All I know is that the humans and Alfar have been battling the enemy for close to 10 years now. Nothing of interest to tell. I'm just a simple farm girl from the plains of Erethel. I left home as a girl and travelled west. Found myself here in Gorhart. All I know is what I've heard from others. They say that the fair folk possess powerful nature magic. That would explain the beauty of these woods. I've worked here since I was a girl. Arnik runs an honest business, and Ugnar treats me like a daughter, though he doesn't say much. If you need a healer's touch, Katrin works out of a room upstairs. She's Alfar, but I wouldn't hold that against her. I feel terrible about what happened to that girl. Gorhart used to be a nice little village. These days we're jumping at shadows. The mission? I don't know much about it. I will say this, it's a waste of good lads, that Order of Nitharu. Not many available suitors in Gorhart, if you haven't noticed. Vast rolling hills east of here near the coast. You should head that way if you wish to join the war effort. The Alfar need all the help they can get. It's as good a place as any, I guess. The Fae are strange, but they rarely bother us down here. I worry more about Nanny Henry, the creepy old alchemist. Nice talking to you.
Come in, rest your boots by the fire, and drown your worries in a flagon of our finest. I am Arnik Arduna, and this is the famous Gorhart Inn. The lifestyle of a soldier did not suit me. Unlike many of my brethren, I wished to celebrate with others, not kill them. Starting a public house seemed the logical step. Established 70 years ago by the great Alden Gorhart, this inn was the first all-main structure in all of Dalentar. I won it from him in a game of knuckles. Dida serves the finest ales, and upstairs you'll find Katrin, the healer. Here's some advice. Avoid Nanny Henry. I don't know what she's brewing in her little shack. Don't you bother yourself with that. Gorhart is safe. Our greatest concern is passing the time. We can offer you a place to rest and refresh yourself. Interested? We're here to serve. Don't worry about that, my friend. Don't let the concerns of our local warden trouble you. You're here as a guest. There is no Red Legion.
And if there was, it certainly wouldn't be out here in Gorhart. Stick around.
Gorhart used to be bigger before the war, yeah.
I'm so tired.
Times are hard, but hard times can pay if you're willing to take risks. If you have the sword and stomach for this sort of work, we could use another strong arm among the warsworn. That's me, warsworn since before you've been drawing breath, and Oathblade near as long. Easy now, stripling. Earn your way to Pledge Shield first. Then, in 5 or 10 years' good service, you'll make Oathblade. There's a war in the east, and Dalentarth's got our own troubles with the Red Legion thieves. Some say they've seen Tuatha in these parts. Fools. I'll believe that when I see it. Peaceful enough, if it's peace and quiet you like. Trouble with bandits and rogues now and then. That's when they send for me. Some may try to colour it with fancy words, but we're warriors for hire, the best in these lands. You'll find those who have taken the oath are held in the highest respect all over Amalur. You could head straight to Shieldring Keep and pledge your sword. Might work, but a commendation from me would carry a lot of weight. To earn it, you must do something commendable. There are 2 brothers, scoundrels of the Red Legion, named Osgar and Medgar Krast. Bring me proof you've dealt with them. I'll pay in coin and my good word. We're fighters for hire. There are none better with steel, swinging it, or shaping it, and none held in higher regard. What have you been living under? We've been at war with the Tuatha for 15 years. They're unlike any Fae you've ever seen. Red eyes to match their armor, and fierce as rabid wolves. Shieldring, the oldest home to the Warsworn, in the Feylands at least. A name taken by some lot of scoundrels to glorify their thievery. A name breeds fear and doesn't die like a man. But killing the men who use the name is a start, eh? We've had our eyes on those 2 for some time. Red Legion scum. They're both dangerous, but it may help to know Osgar favors the bow, while Medgar favors the spear. Fae are folk, but not mortal folk. They're not concerned with the things we mortals are. Osgar hides somewhere in the woods north of here. Medgar was last seen east of his brother's camp. Bring me their Legion daggers, and I'll pay with coin, and a commendation to join the order. Right then.
Try and call the shop with supplies.
Hi.
How may I help you today, my friend? We'll see you soon.
Hello.
We've buried so many in the cemetery on the hill.
Be cautious in the forest. There are dangers with sharp teeth, and many of them.
There's Warsworn in the inn. They can help you find work if you're interested.
The Red Legion is about. Best to slip.
They say Agner Farhall is hunted. Hunted by Red Legion bandits, I say.
I am Katrin. Do you require my healing touch in mind, body, or both? The Gnome's Tower stands to the west, past Gorhart and beyond the ruins of Alistar Glade. However, no one should seek Alistar. Its secrets should be kept. I am unable to watch while others suffer. Too many mortals have fallen prey to the Tuatha, and I could not stomach it. So I left my home in Rathir and travelled west. There are many Almain villages just like this one, yearning for peace, crying out in pain. What good are my gifts if I cannot make what is broken whole again? The Almain were once different tribes that recently banded together to form an empire. They are formidable creatures, but new to the way of magic. I buried everything I was when I buried my family. That is the war's legacy for many of us. That is all I have the strength to say. Find the fair folk if you wish to learn the ways of magic. They understand this world in a way that is hidden from mortals. You will find many Fae in Dalantarth, as it is one of their ancestral homes. The forests of this region are one of the densest in all of Amalur, and the stretch from Alistar to Isa. Those of us who live in the shadow of its canopy call Dalantarth the Feylands, because this is where these fair folk have their seat of power. This has been my home ever since my love was taken by the Tuatha. After such a loss, one craves quiet, but it seems that the war has followed me here. I require a nominal fee only so I may eat and have a bed to call my own. The glorious Alfar city to the east is where the forces of right gather to face the Tuatha. It is an enchanting place with a long history of magic. Magic is a natural wonder, no matter how you use it. The Tuatha are the exception. Their power is tainted, and it has caused a grave imbalance. Be safe.
Avoid Dyden Hill. The blood plague is spreading.
You there! Halt! Don't let me catch you making trouble again. Be on your guard.
Damn Red Legion.
Welcome to St. Odwig's perpetual mission. I would invite you in, but the Order has been too trusting in the past. We try to learn from our mistakes. Although, one never knows what might be a test of faith. You have arrived just when I am in need of aid, so perhaps Mitharu is at work. The first bricks were laid 50 years ago by Odwig himself, before his demise at the hands of trolls. We honor him by converting the Fae to the worship of Mitharu. Alas, we have yet to convert a single one, but that does not keep us from trying. Frustrating, that one, stubborn to the spirit. She claims to know the will of Mitharu better than those of us who have spent a lifetime studying scripture. If only she would be touched by the hand of reason. I have been with the mission since its founding. These boys are like my sons. I live my life as an example of Mitharu's wishes for our kind. The Fae are stubborn fools. They treat their souls like toys, with no thought of right or wrong, chaos or order. We at St. Odwig's have worked for years to establish a presence on this hill. It's not been without its challenges. The call of the Feylands does not fall upon deaf ears, and many of our youngest don't have the will to resist. Take Brother Egan, for example. 2 nights ago, Egan ventured past the walls to collect firewood and never returned. We must find him before anything happens. Mitharu be praised. His order reigns supreme. Brother Egan was last seen northeast of here, just off the road near the Fey ruins. Please find him. Perhaps then we can welcome you into the fold with open arms. He is a good boy, but our youngest, and Egan often suffers from doubt. That is to be expected. One can only grow out of conflict, especially conflict of the spirit. I tried my best to comfort him and tell him that wisdom would come in time, but he is impatient, brash. He wanted a faster way to enlightenment and power. Egan was last seen in the woods outside the walls, just north of the village. May Mitharu protect you.
I'm not accustomed to all of this excitement. It was difficult enough to adjust to life during wartime. Now we have to be on our guard for Tuatha right here in our own home. What is this world coming to? My experience is limited to Arnik Arduna and Catrin Allway. They seem the same as any of the rest of us. Wiser, perhaps, but decent, hard-working folk. Truth be told, I know nothing of why the Tuatha are at war with the Alfar, nor why men fight the way they do. All I know is who picks up the pieces. The Tuatha's madness infected the Winter Court. All Fae existed peacefully for centuries, until the Tuatha got involved. It's sad. I'm hardly a scholar, but I can tell you what I know. There are two Fae factions, the gentle Court of Summer and its coarser cousin, the Court of Winter. As a child, we were told stories of their ancient rivalry. These are surely myths, but enough to scare a young girl. In the last few years, the Court of Winter has fallen, corrupted by a group of powerful Fae called the Tuatha. It's the Tuatha we fight, and the Tuatha we will defeat. I would think they were a myth if not for the Tuatha. The Fae keep far from us. Perhaps they view us as intruders in their lands. Perhaps they disapprove of our civilized ways. Perhaps they know something we don't. I fear that most of all. I was a miller's love who became a miller's wife. Now I am the wife of a soldier. My duty is to hold vigil for my beloved and for all our men on the lines. I was born and raised right here in the village. Well, not in Gorhart proper, but on a farmstead outside the village boundaries. It was a good life. Before the war, of course. It's strange. Those old birds have been perched on that hill for as long as I can remember, staring down over the rest of us in the village like hawks. I know so little about them. I don't even know their names. It's my understanding that they were once members of the Court of Winter, and Fae like any other. But something dark lured them, took them, and twisted them in its grip. Farewell.
If you haven't spoken to Arnik Arduna, you should. He's a friendly sort, not like most Alfar.
They say Agnafar Hall is haunted.
Need something?